Hello, 7th graders. Your next video is going to be covering section 4.1 out of the book, which is on ratios. And a ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. What does that really mean? It means that normally you write them as fractions. It has the division bar. It can be written in three different ways, though. So, for example, if I had, say my ratio was 5 to 7, that's how you would read it, 5 to 7. This means divide, right? That's why they're talking about comparing it by division. You can write it in words, like with the word 2, 5 to 7, or you can write it with a colon, 5 to 7. You read them all the same way though, 5 to 7. And whatever's written first is what you put first. So like if they were saying write the ratio for pigs to cows, and you had 37 cows and 18 pigs, but I said write the ratio for pigs to cows, you would write 18 first, because that's what I said first, 18 to 37. If you can reduce it, go ahead and reduce it. If you can't, you just leave it. Like that is the answer, but you could also write it these two other ways as well. So we're also going to be talking about equivalent ratios, and equivalent just means equal, right? So two ratios that name the same amount. So for example, if I have 4/5, what would be an equivalent ratio? Another way to say that is equivalent fractions, which we've already talked about. Another fraction that would be the same as that would be 8/10, right? That would equal that. 4/5 equals 8/10. They name the same exact portion, it's just that one is reduced and one isn't. That's all they mean by equivalent ratios. So then, for part of your assignment, you're going to have to convert some things. So we're probably going to want to know this little, or be reminded of this. So we have kilograms over here on the left, and then you have hectograms, and then it's, I'll put DKG, that's not really, it's just DG, but it's decagrams, gram, decigram, see DGs are the same, but this is deci and this is deca, centigram, and then milligram. This is always your base unit, which it could also be a liter or a meter. Why am I reminding you of this? Because when you need to do this problem, so this is a ratio, 30 milliliters to 2 liters. That's a ratio. So the directions would say something like, write each ratio as a fraction in simplest form. I can't just reduce that the way it is and put 15 over 1, because one is in milliliters and one is in liters. I need to convert them both to the same kind of thing first. So it's probably easiest to go from liter to milliliter. So liters here in the middle. So if I want to go over to milliliter, I go 1, 2, 3 spots, which means I take that 2 and I move my decimal 1, 2, 3 spots. So it would be 2,000 that'd be milliliters. And this one would be 30 milliliters. So if I reduce that, if I reduce them both by 10, I would have 3 over 200, and that's as low as I can reduce it. That would be the ratio reduced. I can't just take it how it is unless it names the same thing. Okay, so I might have to convert it first and then reduce it. So you're going to want to probably write this down and memorize it if possible, because you're going to see it like on your quiz and your test. So you're going to want to remember the order of that stuff. Then the last portion of your assignment is going to talk about stuff like this. To compare two ratios, or one ratio and one decimal, you're going to make them both fractions or both decimals and then reduce and compare them. We've actually done stuff like this before. When we did the fractions and decimals, we talked about how you can't compare a fraction to a decimal. You need to make them both the same kind of thing and then compare them. It's the same exact thing with this. So, for example, if I had 15 over 10 and 1.65, I can't necessarily just look at those and know which one is bigger. I need to change them. So I would probably change this to a decimal. It doesn't matter. I could change this to a fraction. So 15 goes in the box divided by 10. So you really are comparing 1.5 and 1.65 then. Which one is bigger? $1.65 would be more than $1.50. So you're going to have to do stuff like that too. So bring this knowledge with you and we will talk about it in more detail tomorrow. Have a good night.